Hello everyone, this is Group 3 presenting on Sunni and Shia definitions and divisions. As Islam was a religion that extolled territorial conquest and created a large empire, it is unsurprising that such a large empire would burgeon dissident religious movements that challenged the extant structures. While Muslims shared a reverence for a basic text and a single God, divisions were fostered upon the Prophet's death on the concepts of who should take his place, preservation of authority, and who should lead Islam's expansion into the wider world. This led to the Muslims today being divided into Sunnis and Shia. Both believe in the five pillars of Islam. They strive for goodness. They have an observation of the Quran. They strive to be ethical and moral. They believe that Allah chose Muhammad as the prophet of Islam. The Quran has a divine source and that Allah's missions concluded with Muhammad. With the death of the Prophet Muhammad in 632, divisions began between two different groups within Islam, the Sunnis and the Shia. This division resulted from the debate as to who should succeed Muhammad in the continuation of the faith. The majority group, Sunnis, believed that the successor should be decided based on the decision of the community as a whole, while the Shia believed that the successor should be within the same family as Muhammad. After an assembly named Abu Bakr as the first caliph, there was an immediate division as certain members wanted Ali, Muhammad's son-in-law, to take over. Two caliphs were murdered before Ali's turn. When Ali was chosen, war erupted and he was killed in 661. Since then, the two Islamic groups have remained separated, never reconciling, and continue to have conflicts to this day. Shia and Sunni Muslims both want to establish Islamic law as a sole basis of government. They reject the Western model, such as the status of women. The fall of the Shah of Iran was facilitated by his policies that alienated the religious establishment and the alignment with the rich and westernized groups. Islamic movements address some of the same issues as secular politicians. The movements attack corruption in the government and the gap between the rich and the poor. Shiite communities are less affluent than the Sunni and Christian communities. Radical Shiite movements flourished in the period following the dramatic Western military intervention in Lebanon in 1982. Upon the major disagreement, the Majlis al-Shura, a collection of advisors usually made up of the most devout and knowledgeable Muslims, chose Abu Bakr as the first caliph or leader of Muslims. This set the precedence of the leader being chosen based on piety and deeds instead of keeping the rule in the bloodline of the Prophet Muhammad. Most Muslims accepted Abu Bakr as the leader. The Shia started out as a small group of Muslims that supported Ali, Muhammad's cousin and son-in-law. Ali was a part of the consulting body that chose Abu Bakr, but the more traditional wing of the religion believed that the choice of Abu Bakr denies Ali his right to be a leader. Sunni is defined as orthodox. They are comprised of Muslims who are part of the main branch of Islam and belong to one of the four schools of jurisprudence, the Hanafi, Hanbali, Maliki, and Shafi'i. The Shia are defined by the Arabic language as a group of people that develops consensus on an issue. The word can also be defined as helpers, supporters, and partisans of a person. The word is also applied to the followers of Ali and his 11 male descendants. The overall differences in these two groups are embedded in the social and political structure of the Middle East. Conversions from Shiism to Sunnism and vice versa are rare. The individuals must marry members of their own community. They learn about Islam within the traditions of their own faith and under the guidance of their faith's religious teachers. Both Sunni and Shia Islam are organized in ways that reflect their belief. For the Shia, there is an emphasis on the role of the imamate. There is more of an elaborate religious hierarchy than the Sunni. The clergy is more independent of the government than religious officials of the Sunni. The religious officials have less of a need to rely on secular government for monetary needs. The religious officials control substantial religious endowments, and there are important appointments to senior religious positions made by Shia religious officials, not the state like the Sunnis. The government controls the appointment of senior religious officials for the Sunni, and the government allocate large religious endowments through government ministries. They have high-ranking clergy dependent on government, more open than the Shia to the idea that leading of prayers and preaching can be done by a normal person. The Sunnis believe that the Imam are the leaders of Muslims appointed as temporal successors of Allah. The Sunni Muslims do not place any human at a level similar to that of Allah and the Prophets. The Imam are highly respected Muslims but are not believed to have divine powers. For a ruler's lineage, there can be any practicing Muslim chosen by agreement of the authorities of the Muslim populace. The successors after the Prophet include the four rightly guided caliphs: Abu Bakr, Umar bin al-Khattab, Uthman bin Affan, Ali bin Abi Talib. And the Imams are defined as saints, considered as persons with strong faith in the Quran and the Sunnah. They believe in paradise and hell on the day of judgment, believing that all humans are subject to Allah's judgment, as opposed to the Shia belief of guaranteed life in paradise for simply obeying and following Allah. They do not believe in Muhammad having nominated a successor. The Shia believe that for the lineage of a ruler, there must be a male child from the lineage of Ali from Fatima, so staying in the family of the Prophet. The successors after the Prophet include the 12 infallible Imams, and the Imams are identified as being divinely guided and considered as the only legitimate interpreters of the Quran. They believe in a Messiah, and they believe that the 12th Shia Imam went into occultation, so that God took him into hiding and that he will come back at the end of time. He is known as Mahdi, or the Messiah. They commemorate Hussein's death every year in a public ritual of self-flagellation and mourning known as Ashura, and they do believe that Muhammad nominated a successor. Thank you, everyone.